All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to MMA Island. I'm Zach Harkness, and today I'm joined by UFC light heavyweight prospect Jamahal Hill. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, I just want to go right into the first question, and I want to start by talking about your fight with Klidson Abreu back in May. Now, as Joe Martinez was announcing your name and as the fight began, you looked incredibly collected and very confident. Many fighters deal with nerves going into fights, but it looked like you were unaffected. Tell me about your mental state leading up to that fight and inside the cage.
I was confident, because I just put the work in. Most of the camp, I just was just focused on myself. I mean, I didn't watch any film or anything. I was just locked into myself. I think about maybe the week before, because we go out like a week before. We'll get like an Airbnb. You know what I mean? We'll get acclimated to the climate or wherever we are and things like that. I watched his fights, and whenever I watched his fights and actually seen the video and the tape on him, I was just like, yeah, this dude can't beat me anywhere. Standing on the ground, it didn't matter where the fight went. I felt extremely confident that I was good to go, period.
So do you think that when you have this confidence, I'm sure this is an easy question to answer, but when you have that confidence, do you think that you perform better in fights? Because when some fighters get confident, they make mistakes, but the others, they also thrive on that confidence.
Yeah. For me, it's different because my confidence comes from the fact that I know I'm gonna do the right things because I know the right things to do and I know the steps to follow. You know what I mean? That's where my confidence comes from. It's not like, oh, I can just go in there. I never feel like I can just go in there and do whatever the fuck I want to do, ignore the basics, ignore the fundamentals, and then still pull out a victory. You know what I mean? I'm locked in on the details. As long as I feel like I know exactly what to do, I'm good.
That's absolutely a winning mindset, and not one that you see a lot of fighters echo. And you see a lot of successful fighters have this mindset. So how much do you attribute your success so far? I mean, obviously you have your skills and your training, but the mindset's a huge part. How much do you attribute your success so far to your current mindset?
All of it. My mind, I feel like, is one of my most powerful weapons. So yeah, I would have to say that's completely got me where I am today.
And I want to go back to the Abreu fight. It seemed almost instant when you dropped him, but you were landing almost every single strike, it seemed. But were you surprised when he went down so quickly? And were you even more surprised when he got back up? Because most people don't get up from those punches.
Nah, not really. I just wanted to go out there and touch him. You know what I mean? Whenever he first went down, I was like, oh shit, he went down already. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't like I was really putting anything. I was just touching him. You know what I mean? Those were just touch from shots. You know what I mean? But it just went to show. That was the fight that I had my full power back in my right hand. Before that fight in the Darko fight, I had broke my right hand weeks before.
Really?
So I didn't have the full power in my hand, which it kind of bothered me. Whenever I was fighting him, I was kind of hitting him. I kept catching him, and I was just like, damn. Usually people would be going to sleep right now. They'd already be sleeping. But yeah, it was just a reassurance that I do have that power.
Do you think that the Darko Stosic fight would have gone a different way? Do you think you would have finished him if you didn't break your hand?
Yeah, if I didn't break my hand, I would have knocked him out. Because I wasn't able to sit on the punches. I had to basically was slapping him with my right hand. Those hooks, like the one, you go back and you look in the first round, it was right around the time DC was like, if Darko can time a left hand, he could put me out. He came right into a right hook. That was just a slap, and it kind of slumped him a little bit, and he fell into the cage. But if I had the full power in my hand, that would have put him out. He would have been out.
So I want to go a little bit of a different direction here. On your Instagram, you keep mentioning your opponents as students of Touch 'em Up University. So I got to ask, that's a great nickname. How did you come up with that, and which student of the university are you the most proud of?
You talking about as far as at our school?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, Touch 'em Up University just came from the fact of just that's our fighting style. I'm gonna put volume on you. I'm gonna keep touching you. There's never been anybody that I fought that I haven't been able to touch. You know what I mean? And it's just I touch you up everywhere. So You know what I mean? And at the same time, it's like you schooling them. I'm schooling them at the same time. Touch them up university.
Right.
As far as students go, I'm proud of a lot of my guys, but you know what I mean, the one that I'm really excited about, that I really want to get going. You know what I mean? He still got some tools that he needs to add to the bag before we put him out there. I got this young guy, Jace Jones. He's a beast. He just turned 20, young kid. I've been sparring with him for like over 3 years. He's got the good stuff. He knows how to touch people up. He's still working on it, still learning our system and everything like that. But yeah, I can't wait to see what he does. I got my brother Juan Romero. Can't wait to see what he does whenever we ready to send him out there. We don't just go into fights just like, oh, I'm really good at this area. You need to be proficient in everywhere, in every aspect of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
So,
yeah, I do get that. Now,
yeah.
you're one of many stars to come into the UFC from the Contender Series. Now, the promotional material for the Contender Series calls it the world's most intense job interview. So I want to know your feelings when you got called to compete during the fight and when you were given your contract.
Well, I was actually, whenever I got the call to come on the Contender Series, I was actually on my way to the gym. I was headed to the gym. I had another fight. I already had a fight scheduled. So whenever they called me for that one, it was like, damn, I was like, I had been waiting for it. It was like, yeah, I've been waiting for this. You know, I don't know. I was just ready. I just locked right in and I went right to work. You know what I mean? It was what we had been waiting for. We had been waiting for the call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I got it, I was excited. I was ready. And I went right to work.
Now, when you got that call and you said that you had a fight booked, I mean, obviously this is the opportunity you've been waiting for, but did you have any debate on whether you should take the fight you've already been scheduled with, or did you always know that you were going to take the Contender Series fight?
I actually wanted to see if I could do both. I actually
Really?
wanted to do both. I wanted to do both just for the simple fact that, this is how I make my living. You know what I mean? When I went pro, I quit my job and went pro. You know what I mean? I threw everything into this. So that was how I was eating. I got my sponsors and my people that backed me. You know what I mean? And then after that, it was just, you know what I mean, my support, the Sweet Dreams Nation that showed out to grab my gear. And then it was what I made off of the fights. That's how I fed. That's how I ate. That's how I fed my family. You know, so yeah, it was more so of that. You know what I mean? The money, the whole money aspect of it. But yeah, there was no question if it came down between the two, I was taking the Contender Series fight.
How far apart was your scheduled bout and the Contender Series fight?
I was scheduled to fight. I think they gave me that fight. It was April 1st, I believe. And I believe my fight was about 3 weeks before that. I would have fought like April 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
That was when my fight was scheduled. So, but I talked to my manager, I talked to my guys, and they were like, well, yeah, you can do the fight. You know what I mean? Probably, but here's the thing: what happens if you know what I mean? You end up kick this dude, you break a toe, or you know what I mean? You end up injuring yourself in some type of way, and then you know what I mean? You have to step away from this opportunity. Or you know what I mean? So I'd rather have just been ready for that. So I just jumped on that.
So it wasn't I thought it would be the promotions telling you, no, you can't do this fight. You have to come up. But it was actually your manager and your teammates that told you not to take
My manager and my coach. Before I make any decisions, anything I do, I talk to my manager and I talk to my coach,
Mm-hmm.
my coaches. And we make decisions. We make decisions collectively. Because some of us we have different inputs, we have different feelings, we have different things that we think about, you know what I mean, things like that. So, I feel like that's what makes us really, really a good team and a good combination.
You're
So
managed
yeah,
by Brian Butler, right?
I am.
Yeah, he's one of the Sucker Punch and Brian Butler. All those fighters are taking over in the UFC right now, and he does a good job. So, what is it really like? Like, how much has it meant to your career to have someone like Butler, managing you throughout this entire process?
Um, it's been good, man. It's been good to be able to have that experience. That guy that's been around the game, he's got the right connections and things to lean on, and you know what I mean, and to help me. You know what I mean? And things like that. And even beyond that, he's done things for me even beyond that. You know, like whenever, starting out, I didn't after contender series, I didn't get my first fight until like January. So that's like 7 months after I got signed.
Mhm.
You know, if I needed a little help financially, a little loan or whatever, he helped me out with that. You know what I mean? And things like that, just making sure that I was just able to stay focused on what I had, my goals and things like that.
Mhm. You said that it was 7 months between your getting signed on the Contender Series and your eventual UFC debut. So I'm wondering, a lot of fighters like to take long layoffs. Some like to take short layoffs. What is your ideal time that you take in between fights for camps, recovery, all that?
Couple months is really what I'll be good. If I could fight every 2 months, I'll be good.
You can fight every 2 months. Well, the last time you fought was in May, and that's a longer layoff from your first and second UFC fight because you went from January to May, and now you're going to be fighting in December. So, is there a reason why you took a little bit of a longer layoff this time?
You don't watch the news? You don't watch
Oh, of
ESPN?
course. Yeah, I know. I've been seeing
Yeah.
that, but I didn't stop you from fighting in May, though.
Uh-huh.
Because
No, that's not what I'm saying. I got suspended, bro.
oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, man, I hate when that happens. It happened
Yeah.
because it happened to another guy I interviewed, Trevin Jones, but he had his fight. He had the win taken away to a no contest. Is
Mine
yours?
was too.
Yours?
Technically, the Clemson Abreu win has been moved to a no contest.
So I think it's just honestly so stupid
It's
that the
stupid as
UFC.
fuck. It's dumb
It's
as fuck.
it,
We can say exactly what it is. It's dumb as fuck.
yeah.
It's
It's
not like I took a performance enhancer. It's not like I was
exactly.
cheating. And I didn't even smoke for 4 weeks before the fight. It just so happened that I was smoking so much, and then I smoked dabs that my levels went up so high that they weren't able to come down low enough in time.
Yeah,
But if you look, but here's the thing though, and this is what's fucked up about the whole situation is the fact that the UFC actually invested, bro.
mhm,
They went back my old USADA samples. They went back testing my USADA samples right before then, right after then. Any USADA samples they had, they tested to see what my levels were.
right.
And to be honest, one of them was like 6,000. My levels were in the thousand.
Hmm.
I tested at 311. All right.
Wow.
So it was that significantly different. But because they're like, oh, our rules say that if this much is in the system, that means he smoked in competition rather than going with the. I'm talking about they got experts to weigh in and all of that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Everything to build me a case because they really wanted to suspend me for 18 months.
Hmm. Wow. That
So man, yeah. So yeah, they had my back. They had my back in that issue and everything like that. But yeah, it's still some bullshit to me.
yeah. Did you hear what happened to Trevin Jones?
No.
What happened to him is he actually disclosed when he was going to make his debut on short notice, and he
Mm-hmm.
disclosed that he had been smoking weed before this, and yet they still fined him, took away his win to a no
All
contest,
that.
and suspended him.
Yeah, all that. That's how they get their money. Because this is the thing. These commissions, they're not ex-fighters. They're
Hmm.
not, people that went through the struggle or the grind that we go through. You know what I mean? They're just some fucking dudes sitting in offices and shit. And this is how they make their money. They make their money off finding fighters, taking away our money.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. And I know that a lot of fighters have thought about there's been a lot of talk about just commission overhaul in general and overhauling judging, refereeing, all that stuff. So what are your thoughts on a big commission overhaul? What would you do if you were in charge of changing the rules that the commissions make to make it better for fighters?
And put actual fighters or former coaches or people that actually have been in these, that actually know this life in there, that
Hmm.
actually understand this life in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
100%. I've been
that's what I
talking to
do.
when I talked to Cody Stamen, he was the one who got robbed by a bad decision. He said that because of
Terrible.
that.
The Song Yudong fight.
Yep.
Twice.
Yep.
This dude would play. Twice we watched this dude fucking lose. And
Hmm.
yet somehow he was still given the win.
Yep. And because of that, Cody Stamen said he wants to become a judge. He as a fighter wants to become a judge so that that can't
Now,
happen
see,
again.
that can't happen for the simple fact of it's a conflict of interest.
That didn't stop the people in Texas though. At UFC 247, did you hear about all this with Joe
No.
Solis? Oh, you know Trevin Giles, right?
Name sounds familiar. I can't put a
Yeah,
face.
he fought last weekend. In at his fight at UFC 247, one of the people judging his fight was a judge who had trained with him in the past, and he didn't disclose the conflict of interest, and they let him train and they let him judge that fight. It's just commissions are just so they need to be overhauled like instantly.
And we need people in there that understand. Now, some dudes on these commission boards, they're all right. They're a little more smoother and easy going. But the overall at the top, man, they don't, bro. They try to run this shit like, honestly, it's almost run like, like the principal's office almost.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Only
Yeah.
thing is, the principal's been in school. Most principals have been teachers. They've been through the, you know what I mean? They've been through all through those levels and shit, and they haven't. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
only there for discipline. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. Like, mm,
So after your fighting career is over, right? Would being like trying to be a commission member to like make the changes that you want to see within the whole commission system, would that be something you're interested in?
if I could find time and stuff like that. But after I'm fighting, I plan on going into other business. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to. My thing is building generational wealth for
Hmm.
my family and my kid. You know what I mean? My kids. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? That's what I'm after. I got, and not only that, I got other passions that I want to pursue. You know, like I
What are
like
some?
telling stories. I like writing stories. I like writing movies. I like coming up with storylines and things like that. I just like being creative.
Mhm.
You know, those are some things that I look forward to hopefully getting into with the opportunities that I have now. These doors opening, I hope they open more doors into other things that I'm passionate about and that I want to get into.
I'm sure that they will. Like being a UFC fighter opens like a bunch of doors to a bunch of different like opportunities. Now, I want to move into your UFC future here. You were recently booked for your third fight in December, and it's going to be the co-main event of the evening. Now, I know every fighter has their own career mapped out for the most part, but did you see yourself advancing through the UFC ranks as fast as you have done? And after a victory in December, what's your path to the belt?
Um, I knew it was possible. Because whenever I stepped into the UFC, I stepped into the UFC with the confidence that I could beat anybody.
Hmm.
Anybody. Just starting at the top with John Jones. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people say crazy, why the fuck would I be here if I didn't think I could be the best?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my mindset jumping in. So, you know what I mean? Am I a little surprised? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a little unexpected, especially with everything like dealing with the suspension and things like that coming out of that and stuff. But am I ready for it? Hell yeah. You know, and honestly, path to the belt, I was kind of hoping shit I could put in my work and maybe by the end of 2020, going into 2022, I'm either having the title fight or looking down the barrel, looking at a title fight. Now with this whole new Israel Adesanya jumping up to hold up the weight class shit, who fucking knows?
Yeah, I don't really want to see another double champ just because they halt contenders in two divisions.
You know what I mean? Glover Teixeira deserves to fight for the belt right away,
100%.
right now. He's, you know what I mean? He's 41 years old. He's been putting in his work, and like he said, beating these dudes ain't easy.
Oh,
His
it's
fights
not.
haven't been easy. They have been fucking wars.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Let that man get that man what he deserved, man. For real. You know what I mean? If Izzy want to move up a weight class, I feel like he should have to fight a contender in that weight class. John Jones
100%.
isn't moving right up and getting a title shot. Anderson Silva actually beat top contenders and former champion in at 205 and still never got a title shot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, come on, man.
So Glover Teixeira, obviously, he's a very skilled mixed martial artist, and that's carried him so far. But you look at a lot of the other guys in the light heavyweight division, and some of them at the top are very up there in age when you're still pretty young in your UFC career. So to seeing these guys who are like actually old still being able to compete at the top of the level of sports, does that give you like confidence that you could continue to perform at the top
I
level
mean,
for the long time?
yeah, I salute it. You know what I mean? I salute it. Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah. But at the same time, a lot of these dudes, like you said, some of these dudes are old. Like I'm fighting over St. Peru. Over St. Peru is like 37.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's not far off from that's 4 years off of Glover to share.
Hmm.
Like so, yeah, they came up fighting with older dudes. You know what I mean? But for me, um, yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, it shows me that there is a way. There's a way for longevity.
And you mentioned John Jones earlier. I just want to get your quick take on, do you think John Jones is the greatest of all time? And what do you think about him vacating the belt?
For me, my GOAT is Anderson Silva.
Mhm.
I've said this, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's lost." He's 45 years old. He's in his 40s. When he was at the top and he was at his most dominant self, people don't talk about Michael Jordan's years in Washington. You know what I
That's
mean? Like,
true.
oh, he didn't do. You know what I mean? They don't talk about that. Let's look at him at the peak in the prime of his career. Who was fucking with it?
Yeah. And you
You know what
saw
I'm
him
saying?
on Halloween. He was actually taking rounds from Uriah Hall. He looked like he didn't really lose it until he got finished. So
Until he
he
got
still
caught,
lost the chin,
which
but
the
he looked
chin ain't
really
what it
good.
used to be. You know, yeah, that's facts. But for me, John Jones can't be my GOAT for the simple fact of how different he looked after the PEDs.
Yeah.
Like on when he was on PEDs, whenever he got popped and all that shit. Before that, he looked phenomenal. He looked like, yes, he could be the
Incredible.
greatest you've ever seen and all that. But ever since then, the OSP fight, he didn't look that great. Then he had a good fight against Daniel Cormier. Oh shit, he got popped.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then after that, you know what I mean? He looked good. He looked good in the Gustafsson fight, which you already fought him for 5 rounds. I would hope
Yeah.
that you would be able to find another alternative route to, you know what I mean, being a little bit more dominant the second time.
Hmm.
But ever since then, Santos had bad knees and he didn't look that great.
He should have lost to
Reyes, he didn't
Santos
look that great.
and should have lost to Reyes.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't feel that he lost those fights. You know what I mean? For the simple fact that I don't think they did enough to win them.
Right. That's
You know what I
fair.
mean? Like yeah, Reyes had some big moments, but for the most majority of the part, for you can think about, it was just John Jones walking him down. You
Hmm.
can't have that. And John had big moments too.
Yeah, that's true. He
You
did.
know,
They're
he had
certainly
big
too
moments too.
close, though.
It was entirely too close to try to take that champion for how long he's been there and all that. It was too close for you to take his belt that way. You had to be more dominant.
That's true. Now, how do you think John's going to do a heavyweight? How do you think he's going to fare with the power punches like Ngannou?
Power punching don't mean shit if they can't hit you. I think he'll be lighter on his feet. I think he'll be a little quicker. You know, he's gonna have to switch. He's gonna have to add new shit to his game. You know what I mean? Just because of the simple fact of that fucking hand right here blocking shit, that will get you knocked out.
Yeah,
One of those
especially
dudes,
against
they can
Ngannou.
land flush on the other side of that hand and it's still rocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think he'll adapt. I think he'll do well. Honestly, I expect him to fight for the title
You,
eventually.
you think he can beat Stipe?
Yeah, I think he can beat Stipe, but will he is the question.
That's true. Yeah. Now, you also are a pretty, like, you have a really big frame for light heavyweight as well. So is a
You
move
can
to
tell me I
heavyweight
look like a 185er.
Yeah. So is a move to heavyweight like something you've ever considered at
I
all?
fought a heavyweight. I fought a heavyweight as a pro before. I'm here to fight the best, man. I'm here to fight the best, whoever that is, wherever that is. If I can make it there and I can feel good making it there in that weight class, fuck yeah.
So you said 185. You think you can make 185?
I mean, I could, but I would fucking hate it.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. You'd probably be the biggest middleweight out there. And if you're able to get all that weight back,
But see, that's the thing. Size for me don't mean shit. Like a lot of people want to cut a lot of weight so they can fight smaller dudes. That's a
oh yeah.
confidence thing. That means you don't really trust in your skills. You don't really trust in your abilities. You know
Right.
what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
need a size advantage. I got these fucking hands. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I got these legs. I got this work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how are your cuts to 205? Are they easy?
Like, smooth.
How much weight do you cut usually?
Depends. It's different every time, depending on how long the layoff has been and what I've been doing in that time. Like the Brayu fight coming out of the quarantine, we were quarantined.
Of
You know, I
course.
wasn't doing shit. I was eating, playing video games all day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I was about two. I took that fight when I originally took it. It was on like 3 weeks' notice. I was over 245.
Dang.
You know what I mean? So in that 4 weeks, I cut 40 pounds.
Is that your biggest cut ever?
No,
No? What's the biggest
I
cut?
cut from up there before.
What's the
Around
biggest
that
cut?
same.
Have you ever cut like 50
Around the
pounds?
same. Huh?
Around the same. Okay, around the same. I was about to say, have you ever cut like 50 pounds?
It was around the same. A little more 40, give or take.
All right. So, in your third fight, you were fighting a legend of the sport, and you mentioned earlier, and a former title challenger in Oven St. Preux. So do you feel like the UFC is seeing that your performances and respecting you with giving you this high profile guy? And what do you think you do better than him?
Um, I think they see value in me, see value in my skills and what I'm able to do, what I'm able to bring to the table. Because even before this, they offered me a top 10 guy.
Who'd they
You know what I
offer?
mean? Huh?
Which one? Which top 10 guy? Can you tell me?
I don't think I said his name yet. I think he's number 10 right now.
Krylov?
Misha?
Oh, Serkinov? They
Yeah,
offered you
they offered me.
Serkinov.
Yeah, they offered me him.
Really? Did he turn
And
you
he
down?
turned it down,
Wow.
which it's understandable. You know what I mean? I'm only like what, number 24 or something
Hmm.
like that. You know what I mean? He's a guy. He's an older guy. He's been around for a while. He's looking to push up towards that top.
It's
So I
super
get.
high risk, low reward.
You know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much.
So, what do you think you do better than OSP? Because he's been around for a while and he has a very pretty well defined skill set at this point. So, I think at this
Yeah,
point you're so confident in your skills. What do you think that you do better than him in the
I think
cage?
I fight better than he does. Period.
Just in general, you think you fight better?
Fight better than he does. Period. Yeah. I'm not worried wherever the fight goes. Like
Right.
people seem to have this narrative because I beat the shit out of people standing up, and I'm worried about going to the ground. I'm not fucking worried about it at
Hmm.
all. Lion flu choke. I'm not worried about it at
Yeah.
all.
Oh
You know
no,
what I mean?
I'm
I'm really not worried about that shit, bro.
I was gonna ask, like, I'm sure you're not worried because that's not really how fighters think. I was wondering, like, are you excited to go to the ground with him? Because people are saying like that's his
Bro.
best ability, and I'm sure fighters want to test like the best in each other. So, are you
Mhm.
excited to go to if the fight goes to the ground? Are you excited to test your skills against
If it
his?
if it go there, then hell yeah, I'm gonna step up to that challenge, and I'm coming for it. I'm
And
excited for the challenge, period. You know what I'm saying? I always knew I was gonna fight OSP. From the time I saw him, I had a feeling. I'm like, yo, if this dude stay around, that fight's going to happen. It's going to happen.
really, so like
Yeah.
how far back was this? Because that's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah. Whenever he fought John Jones, whatever the fight was, the fight before that. I had saw him that fight before that. And that was when I was like, yeah, I'm in about to fight this dude.
Yeah,
For
and
me, that's the test. Because that's a test of legitimacy. Like coming in before the UFC, I had to be like, all right, where's the level at? Understanding where the levels are and shit like that. You
mhm.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, I knew I always wanted to be on that level. So I knew I always wanted, you know what I mean? Yeah.
He's had two very different performances in his last fight. When he moved up to heavyweight, he looked like really sluggish against Ben Rothwell. But then back down at light heavyweight, he looked really, really good. And with his striking against Alonzo Menafield. So it seems like you usually get two versions of OSP in the cage. Which one do you think you're going to get?
I'm expecting the best OSP best OSP ever to show up. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I have to expect. That's what I have to prepare for. I have
Right.
to prepare for him to be better than he's ever been, you know? And
Yes.
then if he falls any short of that, that's on him. But I'm gonna be ready for the best. To not just to beat them, to dominate, bro. I don't come in this shit just to win. I'm
Mhm.
coming to dominate.
That's what you've done in pretty much all of your UFC fights, like outlanding
What
everyone
I've
by
done
so
in all
much.
my fights.
Yeah. Every single one. Does that I don't. I'm just wondering, like, how that works. Like, in what moments in the fight do you realize that okay, I'm really dominating this guy. This guy has no chance against me, or do you really figure that's going to happen before the fight itself?
I just focus. Like, ask that again.
At what point in the fight, like, you notice that you'll dominate the fights after the fight, but I'm wondering, like, inside the fight itself, do you realize that you're dominating it, or does the adrenaline kind of like
I don't
cloud
really
that?
think about that. I just think work. Just keep working. Keep working. All right, look for this. Look for that. Keep working. Keep working. Keep working. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm focused on the work.
So you're just like living in the moment, pretty
You
much.
know
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, people have said that you're pretty much elite takedown defense away from being the top of the division very, very soon. And as we've seen, your striking is elite. So especially facing a grappler, and you said your grappling is very good, and I know it is, seeing in your last fight. But how much are you training your grappling right now in the camp compared to your
what I'm saying?
striking?
Bro, I
How much
train
do you
it
think
all.
it
I
has
do, bro.
improved?
My schedule don't change, bro. My schedule don't change. I do the same thing every day. Same thing every day that I've been doing. I do my striking, I do my jits. I've been doing jujitsu for over 10 years.
Really?
You know what
What
I
belt?
mean?
What belt are you at?
Uh, I blue.
Blue belt.
I've been a blue belt for 10 years. I got my blue belt in about 6 months. And then like here's the thing. In our system, you don't just get your belt. It's not just handed out. You know what I'm saying? You have to test. You have to know the entire curriculum. I'm under the Gracie, the true Gracie Jiu-Jitsu,
Hmm.
traditional. You know what I mean? So we're not just giving out belts. I just haven't tested.
So
That's it.
you've been a
I,
blue belt for much longer than many people have been blue
I've
belts,
been
if not,
doing jujitsu.
yeah, for
So some
so
of these
much
dudes are
longer.
coming in, they're black belts, and I have more experience than they do.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So with all this grappling experience, and have you ever considered doing one of the things like the stand up under the submission underground or the Polaris grappling events to like keep busy outside of your fighting schedule?
Yeah, I thought about it. I've thought about it. I just don't really ended up not doing it because sometimes, usually, whenever they have like a tournament or something, I have a fight coming up or something like that. And now my thing is like, I don't want nobody like I don't want to go to some like tournament and some dude like, oh, this dude's in the UFC, or I got to try to show. I want to try to show him and then start doing too much and then end up getting then making me have to fuck him up. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Because like I'm smooth, bro. We can go. We can get this work in and shit. But the minute I feel like you doing extra shit, like even little like how motherfuckers like to do a little slick shit, little
Yeah.
dirty shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fuck you up. I ain't with that shit.
Right. Usually in the submission underground cards, they'll match UFC fighters up with other UFC fighters. Like in this other one, they have Derek Lewis, who's another blue belt, grappling against Ryan Bader. That's going to be interesting to see Derek Lewis in a grappling match.
Yeah, Ryan Bader's a beast is a wrestling beast. So yeah, that will be interesting to see.
So recently you posted a training photo on Instagram, and it seemed that you were training with notable names such as Daquan Townsend and Joaquin Buckley. So what are the benefits of training with a guy that you fought before in Townsend and someone right now who has all the attention on him in a Joaquin Buckley?
Well, Daquan is good work. Daquan is good. He's tall, he's long, he's got a good body. For the same reasons that I fought him and I wanted to fight him and things like that. Same thing now. I can use. The training, and he's willing to help me. You know what I mean? Ever since we fought, he's been like a brother to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a huge plus. That was actually my first time meeting Joaquin.
Really?
He's a good dude. We got some rounds in. Good work, good solid work. Made me think about some things that I need to pay more attention to, and hopefully I did the same for him.
So you're a lot bigger than him. Obviously, you're a light heavyweight. He's a middleweight. So and you're also a lot taller than him.
But
Is there a benefit? Is
my
there a
thing
benefit?
is,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, finish your question. My
Oh yeah.
bad.
No, it's all good. Is there a benefit to like training with smaller guys and guys outside of your weight class?
Yeah, they're faster. I try not to use my reach. I try to stay in, like lean in close so that way it's more reaction, you know what I mean, more timing and more things like that. And yeah, they're faster. Joaquin is a beast. Joaquin will get in he's aggressive as shit. He'll
Yeah.
get up in your shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That you can use that from anybody, no matter what, you know what I mean, what weight class they are. And I'm able to fight small sometimes. Like I fight a small man's game in a big dude's body. You know what I mean? I could tell whenever we were going a little bit, he was kind of surprised by how fast I was. You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah.
that. People really don't understand. You can't really judge. Like even watching on TV, you can't really judge the speed and how quick I actually am to you in there. By the end, it's
No,
too late.
I'm sure. So your speed, yeah, I've actually noticed that your like hand speed is really, really fast compared to the other fighters. So have you ever met a person, a light heavyweight fighter who has the hand speed that you have, or do you think that you have that over every light heavyweight right now?
Light heavyweight, nah.
Who do you think is faster right now?
In light heavyweight, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to honestly, I feel like if you wanted to match my hand speed, you'd have to go down to like. You got to go down to want to weight like 155, 145. I feel like I got the fastest hands, period.
And do you think that your hand speed has really just helped you become like this undefeated beast that you are right now?
It's part of it. It's one of the tools. All the tools in my tool bag help me get to where I am.
Hmm. So I want to actually ask about your undefeated record, and you are one of the few undefeated fighters right now in the UFC. And a lot of other undefeated fighters have commonly said that they have extra pressure in their fights to defend their zero. Does being undefeated add any pressure to you, or does it do the opposite and add some extra motivation?
Nah, bro. Because at the end of the day, I stop, bro. I have a singular mindset to focus on the details, focus on the things that matter. The rest of that shit, things like that, will take care of itself. You know. Yeah. Nah. I don't. I'm just trying to stay locked in and be. I mean, do my thing.
So does the record not matter that much to you?
Not really. I mean, it does, but it don't. You know what I mean? Because I'm not. I don't want to focus on it. It's just not. It's just. It's just something that I don't want to get too caught up in. You know, the old, like, obviously I love being undefeated, but at the end of the day, I know the risk of this game. If you worried about those risks, you hurting yourself more than you helping yourself.
That's true. No, it's 100% true. And I think, unfortunately, that's all the questions I have for today. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Is there anything you would like to say to the people out there?
December 5th, you got any questions, let me go tune in and I answer them. You know, I'm grinding, man. I'm grinding, I'm working, you know, and I'm coming. Regardless of anything, regardless of what happened in there, I'm putting in my work, I'm coming. And you going you gonna get all of what I got.
Again, I would like to thank Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill for joining me today. And I would like to thank you, the viewer, for watching this interview. I've been Zach Harkness with MMA Island, and I will see you all in the next one.